Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are listening to Bras, Panties and Sports. It's NFL Week 11. And gambling and sports is getting interesting all over the place. I'm waiting for the hockey players. I'm Spitface. Please welcome our host, the First Lady of Sports Talk, Cheryl Smith.
Good morning, everyone. It's getting kind of interesting. It's really difficult to do that because of what's been going on in the NFL. There was a lot of upsets in Week 10. I wonder what Week 11 is going to bring.
Well, you know, First Lady, when you get to this point in the season, even the bad teams can beat you. And cause they got jobs, they know that people are like, okay, your team may suck, but how do you play? You know, cause these guys know that, they may not be on that losing team next year. But where will they be? So they know that GMs and coaches. So, a lot of times they get real competitive. And First Lady, I don't know about you, but I'm looking at them Patriots, and I'm like, did somebody sprinkle magic dust on them? They had 2 13-loss seasons back to back, and now they look like they may be the AFC number one. Well,
that's what a good quarterback can do for you. I mean, that's been the problem for the Jets. And obviously right now it's a problem for the Miami Dolphins, too. I don't know. So even though Tua is doing a little bit better, but Drake May has definitely proved that he can be a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt to have the right coach.
Exactly.
To have the right coach. It doesn't hurt to have the right coach. You know, I'm looking at that Patriots-Jets game, and I'm looking at Justin Fields, and I'm listening to the commentators speak about all his talent. And I, as a Bear fan, I hate to say this, Jim McMahon said the Bears were quarterbacks come to die. You know? And it makes me wonder if Justin Fields had not started out with the Bears and they horrid coaching, would he be a better player today? And, it makes, because a lot of times, these guys.
I don't think so, because he didn't do well in Pittsburgh, and he's darn sure not doing well with the Jets. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't see the talent for Justin Fields. Do not see it at all. I consider him to be a bust, and he is not a good quarterback at all.
You say you putting him into Marcus Russell lane. Oh, okay.
Well, I'm not going to go that far. Look, I'm not going to go that far because no, I'm not going that far to put him in that. But he is still a bust, though. That was a horrible bust with DeMarcus Russell. I don't even know what that was.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, I guess if we look at all of, especially if we look at the Cleveland Browns and all the quarterbacks they've drafted that didn't work out, and you don't see them in the NFL anymore, So, but I will say this, also watching that game, that there's the Justin Fields part. But Aaron got to get these boys here. There's just no pep in their step. Usually people, there's like something missing in the effort. So I know this is his first year, but we know that there's going to be some major changes to that lineup come the off season. We know that. Well, First Lady, this week on Shout Out, we have performances from young Freda. Will he find his shining star or get the cold feel of the mute button? First Lady, we're ready. What you say?
Each week we try to figure out what is going on in the sports world. Not the plays of the week, more like the players of the week. Are they trying to tell us something? So we ask, what you saying? Fly, little birdie, fly. Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping into the future. So I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let the spirit carry me. I want to fly right into the future. The little birdies known as the Philadelphia Eagles are happily flapping their wings after winning a defensive struggle against the Green Bay Packers, who wish they could fly far, far away. Critics are once again talking down Jalen Hurts' skills when all the man does is win. The Eagles look like they will be the team to beat in the NFC without having stellar performances from Saquon. What does that say about the coach and team? What was Nick thinking about at the end of the game with 33 seconds left and the game still on the line? George Foreman, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, both rest in peace. Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones Jr., and the Steve Miller Band are asking, what you saying? Spitface, if you ask A.J. Brown, the Eagles are the worst team offensively. Brown has made it clear through cryptic posts and on social media and public comments that he is not happy with his role. And fortunately for the Eagles, it hasn't been a distraction because they are, they're 7-2, and they beat the Chiefs, the Buccaneers, the Vikings, and the Packers on the road. So they also beat the Rams at home. So all of these were impressive victories. Some were ugly, but the team keeps on winning. Like they say, all you can do is win. That's what the Eagles do. That's all they do is win. But they are probably the most talked about team as far as what they're not doing, but they're still winning. I mean, they're in the position to become the first NFC East team to win consecutive division titles in 2 decades. Because you remember, the NFC East, nobody has come back and won back-to-back NFC East titles. So, for the Eagles to have a winning record, it says a lot about the team and the coach. Firstly, Nick Sirianni is considered very divisive coach. He draws a lot, he gets a lot of criticism because he's always in your face. He has the sideline antics. He has a lot of emotional outbursts. And to be honest with you, I would say he probably is the most maligned coach that keeps on winning. He constantly has to answer questions about A.J. Brown. And recently he said, quote, guys, I'm close to being done answering these questions about this. So, Nick Sirianni, he's hanging in there. I mean, if you remember, they was booing him in Philly. If you ask most of the people in Philadelphia, they probably want him gone as a coach. But again, he continues to win. People criticize him constantly, and this man continues to have this team ready to win. Now, secondly, the team, they have stuck together for the most part, excluding A.J. Brown, even though he recently apologized for his most recent outburst. But, Saquon is not having the MVP season he had a year ago. But again, he's all about winning, and it's not about personal gain for him. He hasn't complained once. He basically blamed himself for his lack of production, and he's being a great teammate. So the Eagles, they as a team have stuck together. They're continuing to do the things they need to do defensively to win games. Even though the offense, let's face it, that offense is very lackluster. It definitely needs to improve. Now, I agree with A.J. Brown. He's right. The offense needs some improvement. Now, does it mean he needs to get the ball all the time? No. I think they need to get Saquon back into the fold and get him being able to be that explosive player that he was last year. But, I mean, they're going to have to improve their offense for them to get back to the Super Bowl. But for now, they are, to me, they like the Energizer Bunny. They keep on going, meaning they keep on winning. Now, in regards to Sirianni and that play call with 33 seconds left in the game, he believed going for the first down was the better option because it would basically, what he felt, it was going to take the ball out of the Packers' hand, and they were only down 3 points. But he felt that doing a field goal, it would have been a 52-yard field goal, and it was going into the wind. He didn't think that was a feasible choice, so he said he wanted to put the hands in his offense. He felt very confident that his offense would get the first down. But I didn't understand why he threw that long pass. That didn't make any sense to me. I thought it was a ridiculous decision by Sirianni. He should have just punted the ball, and the Packers' offense was just dismal, and Jordan Love didn't have the best game at all. So I mean, he really put them at risk. But they were very fortunate. Like I said, Jordan Love was not at his best, and therefore they got lucky on that. And that's the type of wins that they've been doing. Sometimes it's been luck, it's been ugly, but they are winning. Now, Sirianni, he said he stands on his decision to do that, what he did, even though I just think it wasn't a great idea, and most critics didn't believe he had done that. They call that the worst play they've ever seen. But that's pretty much how Sirianni is thought about in the media circus, because he's just, I tell you, they've always criticized him, but guess what? He got lucky and they won. The Eagles continue to win. So I don't know how long this luck is going to go. I mean, like I said, they got to get that offense together in order for them to go further. All right, Spitface, what you saying?
First Lady, just to kind of, I think the operative word was malign. All the man did was bring them a Super Bowl ring, championship, and it's sort of like, I win a Super Bowl, okay, and the next year, my team is not struggling. They have a winning record. They're winning their division. They only have 2 losses, and the whining has already begun. I'm like, Eagle fans Eagle fans have never chilled out, but they sure do need to take a chill pill. Nick, Saquon, Jalen, they will get themselves together for the second half of the season and do what they do. They don't need a lot to make the playoffs at this juncture. And if they play decent ball, they could end up with home field advantage throughout the playoffs. I'm like, would you rather have that, or would you rather be the Dallas Cowboys? Sometimes I'm like, look, you got a 7-2 team. Do you want the Dallas Cowboys record? Do you want the Dallas Cowboys and all the confusion and crap that they give? Your team has been winning. Your team went to the Super Bowl last year. Your team keeps being competitive. Your team is about to win the division, and everybody is questioning and doubting. Look out for what's going to happen. I'll say the last 6 games of the season. The Eagles will get their mojo going offensively. But First Lady, when your defense is slapping people around like that, your offense don't exact. Your defense is holding people down to 10 points a game. You may not have to do too much worrying about your offense. Now, they got players. They got players on offense. Now, I can't say that these players aren't coming through, but hey, they have the kind of talent that when the switch gets flicked, it's going to be on like Donkey Kong. So, all these critics out there and all the people who don't, Jalen goes, hey, look, I just want to win. I don't care if I got to be tushed around for 4 quarters to win the game. What was the result? Did we get a W or did we get an L? And that's the kind of attitude you want on your team, where it's like we want, because at the end of the day, yeah, we want our stats and all that other stuff because, hey, we want to get paid. But the bottom line is, were you a winner? Did your team win? And I'm just going to throw this in here. With all the stuff that's coming out about gambling and the prop betting and this and that, maybe it's maybe having a steady team like the Eagles is pretty good because, with all the prop betting and stuff going on, somebody in the NFL is going to get caught up in it. And I bet it will not be the Philadelphia Eagles. So, now at the end of the game, Nick, I guess there are just times that the coach makes a call and everybody questions it. But the bottom line is you won. Now, Nick they might have got lucky, but I can't even say they really got lucky because their defense was swatting the Packers down. Now, I know people may think that I'm a Cowboy hater. And I'm like, yeah, I don't particularly like the Cowboys because I do not forgive them for kicking the little bear. I'm a Bears fan, kicking my little bear and doing all of that back in the day. But that's, no, no, I do not forgive them. But even more so, I don't like the cheese heads. So I was sitting up there, I was sipping and dipping and like, get 'em, Eagles, get 'em. So I'm biased. But First Lady, that's all I'm saying, First Lady. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you're right. They won the Super Bowls last year, and everybody comes hard on the Eagles. And, that Philly crowd, they're never happy. They never have to remember. If you remember, they booed Santa Claus one year. So they don't like nobody, to be honest with you. So I'm not surprised they don't like Sirianni. You booed Santa Claus. Come on. But anyway,
they cold-blooded up.
Yeah, they're cold-blooded. But anyway, I just think the Eagles are a good team. But they do need to get that offense together. And Mr. A.J. Brown, he needs to be quiet and be a good teammate the same way that Saquon Barkley is being a good teammate. Because I'm quite sure he's not happy with his performances and thought maybe they could do a little bit better with the offense to get him activated. But he's a good teammate. A.J. needs to be a better teammate. All right, Spitface, over to you.
Okay, don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my peers and putting suckers in fear, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom, explosion, overpowering over the competition. I'm towering, record shot when I drop these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare, you better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest that'll all get sliced and diced. Competition paying the price. I'm gonna knock you out, huh? Mama said knock you out, huh? We are talking about the knockout punch to the Jaguars after losing to the Texans 36-29 after allowing them to score 26 points in the fourth quarter. The Jaguars have a 5-4 record. Is it time to wonder if they are pretenders? Did this loss have more to do with the Jaguars' lack of defense than the offense not scoring in the fourth? The Texans are one game behind the Jaguars. Which team has a better chance of righting the ship and having a shot at the playoffs? Leroy Satchel-Paige, Walter Buck Leonard, and my man, James Cool Papa Bell, are asking what you say. First Lady, that, when, I've seen games where the first half, a team was getting walloped, just walloped. And then the second half, they turned it around. But I haven't seen too many where you down, you down 19 points in the fourth quarter and come back and win the game. Now, I ain't seen too many of them. Not, and, it ain't too many them kind of games going on. But that's what happened. And I'm looking at the Jaguars, and I'm going, originally it looked like they would be the ones to take the AFC South. But then the coach said, well, we got something to say about that. But it looked like they would be in the mix. Now it looks like, and the situation with the Jacksonville Jaguars, they are a team that's an enigma. You just don't know what the hell is going to come out of there. And Trevor Lawrence, is he? Is Trevor Lawrence a case of don't believe the hype? Because it seems like you never know what you're going to really get out of Trevor. Now I will say this about Trevor Lawrence. The Jets would rather have him than Justin Fields. I'm sitting there going like, hey, the Jets are going, well, you know what? Trevor Lawrence can throw that ball. He can do that. But it's just like, week to week performances. And, Jacksonville might actually be a year away from getting their act together. They might just be that way. But we don't know. We don't know, like I said. But right now, I'd have to say the Jaguars are probably one of the biggest pretenders in the league. They probably are. And, whether it was the lack of defense, I can't say it's the lack of defense over the lack of offense, because the defense had held the Texans down until the fourth quarter, and then everything fell apart. But it fell apart, and the offense couldn't score 7 more points. They couldn't score 7 more. They couldn't score another touchdown in the fourth. So I give it the whole team. That's the whole team. The whole team. Now, the Texans are 1 game behind the Jaguars, and I'd have to say that the Texans, which are the Texans, kind of, I think, started the season with high expectations, and they got slapped around quick, fast, and in a hurry. So I kind of think that the Texans were feeling their own juice, so to speak. And the realities of the season, hey, teams got better. The Colts got better. The Jaguars got better. Can't say the Titans got better, okay. But those 2 teams got better. And where it looked like the Texans should have got better, that the offensive line did not. It did not. So I think that they more or less had a failure on personnel, but they're getting their act together. They're moving in the right direction, where the Jaguars are starting to slip and slide down that slippery slope. So the slim chance that either one of them will have at making the playoffs, the Texans have the better shot. First Lady, what you say?
Well, you know what? When it comes to teams that are bad, and right now the Jaguars are a bad team as far as I'm concerned. They started off well, and that's like you said, everybody thought they were going to win their division, but they have nosedived, and they are pretenders. You have to call it what it is. They are real pretenders. And you're right, that 19-point lead they gave up in the fourth quarter was the most in franchise history to lose in the fourth quarter. And to say the defense versus the offense, no, both of them were culpable in that loss. I mean, the defense failures is obvious. I mean, they completely fell apart in the fourth quarter. they were doing well defensively from the whole time of the game, from the first to the third quarter. They dominated for most of the game, but they fell apart in the fourth quarter. I mean, Mills, who would have thought he would have come in to be the hero for the Texans? Was Davis Mills? Yeah. He looked like Patrick Mahomes out there, to be honest with you. And also the Jaguars had a lot of late game penalties. They had turnover. They just gave that game away. And the offense, well, what can you say? They struggled in the fourth quarter. They completely had several 3-and-outs. They didn't, they had several fourth quarter possessions that they just couldn't get a first down. It was just a total catastrophe for the Jaguars to lose that game. So as far as who has a chance of winning that division, the Jaguars or the Texans, I'm going to say, believe it or not, the Jaguars have a better chance. And let me explain why. They currently, they have a 1-game lead on the Texans, but it comes down to the schedules. The Texans have a very difficult schedule. The Jaguars have a much easier schedule. They have, both teams have 8 games remaining. The Jaguars play the Titans twice, the Jets once, and the Cardinals once. They also have 2 against the Colts and 1 against the Chargers and the Broncos. So when you look at that schedule, you would have to say that they can beat the Titans twice, the Jets once, and possibly the Cardinals, depending on what team shows up. Now, are they going to win against the Colts 2 times? Are they going to win against the Chargers, who are playing well? And the Broncos are playing well. So they could easily go 4-4 down the stretch. But remember, they got a 1-game lead. Now, let's look at the Texans. The Texans have a much harder schedule. They play the Colts twice, the Bills once, the Chiefs once, the Chargers once, and then the remaining games that they will have are against the Raiders, Titans, and Cardinals. So they could easily lose 5 games and be 3-5 down the stretch. So that means that they wouldn't catch the Jags. But I wouldn't say that, for me, it doesn't mean the Jags are a better team. I think right now the Texans are a better team. But the problem is the Texans have a tougher schedule. That schedule is very daunting, and they're playing against teams that are in the playoff hunt, and particularly 2 teams that are very desperate, being the Bills and the Chiefs, just to make it to the playoffs. So they're going to get their best. So, it's going to be very difficult as far as I'm concerned, for the Texans to win that division, and it's all because of the fact that it's all about the schedule. And, the Jags, when you look at their quarterback, I don't know. He got the money. They paid him, but really, he only had, if I can remember Spitface, he's only had 1 good season, if I can remember. And I think it wasn't last year. I think it was the season before, when he actually won a playoff game. And I think if I'm not mistaken, didn't Trevor take him to the championship game? I'm trying to remember, but he had 1 good season as a pro in the playoffs. But my whole thing is, though, he really has been very inconsistent. If you're talking about somebody with skills and potential versus somebody like Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence definitely has the skills and the potential, but he just has not been consistent. He has a tendency to make a lot of tough plays, throws the ball away. He has a lot of issues with that type of thing. Sometimes try to be hero boys. Similar to how I forgot Josh's last name for the Bills, wasn't it? Huh?
Allen?
Josh Allen, right. You remember Josh Allen in his earlier days with the Bills, he was doing a little bit too much, and he was perceived not to be a good quarterback, but then he realized that, he can't be that superhero. And so I think that's some of the issues with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence has the potential, but he's very inconsistent. So, if the Jags can go 4-4, I think they can win that division. And like I said, it's just the Texans are not really, their scheduling is just been bad for them. So, I'm going to say the Jags have a chance to win the division over the Texans. That's all I'm saying, Spitface.
All right. And, and like I said, that the Jets may be like, darn, wish we could get Trevor Lawrence. But it ain't working out that way. Okay, First Lady, you had the last word. Please take us to break.
Stay tuned. Up next, we have a performance from, you say Young Freda. It's not Young Freda. But anyway, on Shout Out Part 1, whatever is the correct way. All right. We'll listen to Young Freda.
Welcome back. The music flows in from around the globe to get a shout out from the panel. First Lady, I can't wait to hear the music from Young Freda.
On Shout Out, we feature new independent artists who are looking to find their shining star. If we like what we hear, we'll give the track a shout out. If we don't like it, we hit the mute. On the first part of Shout Out, we are featuring music from Young Freda and his hit album, Evolution. They say a soulful and introspective artist who mixes the soulfulness of 90s hip-hop with a blend of modern rap. Oh, I can't wait to hear this combination. All right, DJ, let's hear I Got It.
CGA. Freda the Kid. Man, it never take no license, see I'm down and out. Oh, my smile is looking nice, sometimes I wear it out. Freda, I got it. Man, it never take no license, see I'm down and out. Oh, my smile is looking nice, most times I wear it out. To cover up this pile of pain, I can't express it now. Off on work is on the counter, what he'll ever give. I hate it's true about my view, we seen to die to live. I dream of views right by a couch of sand and ocean field. And yet I'm leaning against the ropes trying to stay alive. Hard to organize the pieces when you break your pride. But still I rise, I got it. When it comes down to that paper, you know that I got it. When it comes down to my family, you know that I got it. When it comes down to that paper, I'm running and I got it. Told my fam, I got it, yo. I got it. When it comes down to that paper, you know that I got it. When it comes down to my family, you know that I got it. When it comes down to that paper, I'm running and I got it. Told my fam, I got it. Hey mama, watch your son climb the horizon. I plan to show you earth meets sky as we flying. I went on dying, land on islands. What a climate, how you smiling, and every moment is catching timeless. In my conscience, until then, I'm 9 to 5. Like a slave still in bondage. Our freedom lies in economics. We stack and invest into that money. It's abundant. Who knew some niggas from Columbus and not Ohio, but towards the bottom of the country? Unify and host again, our dreams accomplished. This shit that take the unique, require leaders, not sheep, to be the ground for some peace. Who can't feel earth underneath? I got 'em. When it comes down to that paper, you know that I got it. When it comes down to my family, you know that I got it. When it comes down to that paper, I'm running and I got it. Told my fam, I got it, yo. I got it. When it comes down to that paper, you know that I got it. When it comes down to my family, you know that I got it. When it comes down to that paper, I'm running and I got it. Told my fam, I got it.
All right. That's young Freda. Spitface, I'm going to shout it out. He could have put some more lyrics, but other than that, his beats were good. He said, I got it. I'm going to shout, I got it. And he said that repetitively, but that's okay. That's all right. That's what they do. You got the hook. You keep that hook and you keep moving with it. But so I'm going to shout it out. So are you going to give it a shout out, or are you going to hit the mute button, Spitface?
I'm giving it a shout out. I do agree with you that young Freda we could have stood for a few more lyrics, but pretty good. I'm shouting it out.
All right. On part 2 of Shadow, we'll be featuring another performance from young Freda. Is that the sound of our favorite underwater friend? Is it time for Flip It?
No one you see is wider than me. And we are lives in a world full of wonder, lying at all day, I never see.
All right, it's time for Flip It, where hosts defend the point and then flip the script and defend the opposing point of view. But first, before we get into that, Flipper sent me a note, and he said, you know what, Flipper went to get some tuna, and he said this affordability crisis is getting ridiculous. Flipper said he had to pull out his credit card to buy tuna. So, all I could tell him was, look, Flip, I went to buy some coffee and I had to think about it.
That is the truth.
And I like my coffee, but I was like, when you look at the store brand, and the store brand costs what like the fancy stuff used to cost, you go, oh man, all right.
Before you get, I totally agree with you, because, I made some mac and cheese, and normally I always get Kraft mac and cheese, but guess what? I got the store brand one because it was cheaper.
I mean it, and I put it like this. We wouldn't mind moving on up like the Jeffersons where we could be in that class where you don't have to think about it. But I don't know, maybe them billions will take a while. All right, the Ravens are one game behind the Steelers. Which team has a better shot of winning the AFC North? The trend is your friend. The Ravens are surging. The Steelers are treading water. First lady, I'm looking at that move that the Steelers made to get Aaron Rodgers. And while I do see that Aaron still got skills, the team itself is, let's just say, they will have a winning record. The Steelers will have a winning record. But I don't see them making the playoffs. And I do see that now that the Ravens have the Mad Hatter back behind center, that everything starts flowing their way. The Ravens are starting to win, and the Steelers, frankly, are losing. Now, Aaron Rodgers is going to have the Steelers win some games, and which will help them because they're going to beat the teams that they're supposed to beat, which will probably have them playing at least 500 ball all the way to the end. But they won't win the North because the Ravens got slapped around early. Lamar got hurt. The Ravens got rid of all their problems at the beginning of the season. And now they can just concentrate on, okay, our star is back from injury. if we keep him healthy, we should be on a good path. The Bengals, while they can threaten, don't really, see it when it all wraps up. And that other team, the Browns, I put it like this. I'm kind of crossing my fingers that they don't start Shedeur Sanders. And why I don't want Shedeur to start is I don't want him to get hurt. And I don't want him to look bad on a terrible Cleveland team. So I'm kind of like, I know you want to play Shedeur, show yourself, but buddy, nah, save your body for the team they're going to trade you to, But right now, the Ravens, I'd have to say, again, the Steelers are treading water and the Ravens are heading up in the plus column. First Lady, defend the Ravens have a better shot of winning the AFC North.
Absolutely. The Ravens, they had a bad start to the season. Everybody was saying, the Ravens are not good. They said they had tear it down. They fired the coach. And Lamar just can't seem to get things done. Lamar was hurt. Lamar's back now. So they have been actually on a roll. They have a lot of momentum. They've been on a winning streak. They're playing at a high level. They improved their record just to only be one game behind the Steelers. And we know what's going on with the Steelers. What happens always with the Steelers. They falter at the end. And that's what's starting to happen with the Steelers because they have they've lost several games all of a sudden. And the thing with the Ravens, their defense have improved the most because, they had a lot of players injured. So they are getting healthy again. And the injured players are back, and especially on their defense. So the defense performance has been very good of late. And, in the beginning with this losing streak, when they were losing, the defense was horrible. You always expected the Ravens defense to be there. And it was just a matter of the fact that they had a lot of players out on injury. So right now the Steelers are actually chosen to be the favorite to win. ESPN have them to win the division, 62% chance to win. To make it to the playoff and a 60% to win the division. That's very high. That's not saying too much about the Steelers. And the Ravens have have an easier schedule coming up. They got several games against losing teams. That they definitely can gain on the Steelers. And the Steelers, I'm less optimistic about the Steelers maintaining their lead because you remember last year they had a meltdown. They've lost 3 of the last 4 games, and their offense has been a concern. Like you said, it's always been about the quarterback. You talk about the Jets not having the right quarterback. When was the last time the Steelers had a decent quarterback to push them over? Because their defense has always been great. Ever since Ben Roethlisberger is gone, they just can't seem to find the right quarterback. I don't understand it. Maybe they should have taken Shedeur Sanders in the draft. I was very disappointed that they did not make that decision. I mean, if they didn't make that decision because of Aaron Rodgers, that was a dumb decision because, Aaron Rodgers is probably 1 year and done. But, I'm not even blaming Aaron Rodgers. He had a bad game. He was bad I remember the last game. He wasn't that great, but he's had a decent season. So, you can't say blame Aaron Rodgers. But right now, Lamar Jackson is back, and the Ravens are definitely have a favorable schedule, and everybody thinks that they're going to be that favorite team to get there. And as usual, the Steelers have a meltdown at the end. That's all I'm saying, Spitface.
That meltdown at the end. All right, this is flip it. The Steelers, okay, let's flip it. The Steelers are seeing their defense start to finally come around. they will keep that one game lead and win the division. You know, First Lady, the Ravens are surging, and they have to make up for a couple of losses. The Steelers are treading water, but if they can keep treading, they can end up with that. Just all they need is to keep that one game lead over the Ravens. And while I think that the Ravens really overall are the quote better team, I just right now Lamar has a sore knee, and Lamar, for as much as he really, you know, as much as he throws the ball, he throws his body out there. You know, he did. That's just kind of how he plays, and you can't make a guy like him play other. To me, Lamar is sort of like Josh Allen. Okay, you know, they had to say, look, Josh, you know, you gotta, you know, you can't be Superman. You know, now you gotta let these other guys. And I think that Lamar is willing to do that, but it's just in his nature that, hey, look, I'm the man. It's up to me, and they're paying me the money. So you like that, but I think that is what he's going to either miss another game or two along the way, which will hurt the Ravens, or he'll have some kind of nagging injury where that performance just isn't quite there. And I'm still wondering about the big man running the ball. You know, that defenses have been able to, you know, like bam, you know, like stop him. So there are a couple of questions where I see that the Steelers, if they can play a little better than 500 ball, they will have that one game lead and win the conference and win their division. First Lady, the Steelers and Ravens both have tough schedules, but the Steelers will keep their edge and take the division.
Well, the Steelers, I mean, let's face it, they do got a one-game lead, and it'll be telling in December what's going to happen now. The Steelers, they play the Bengals, the Dolphins, and the Browns. So, I mean, these are crucial games that they need to win to have, you know, they need to have a strong finish, as, you know, the Ravens are definitely breathing down their necks right now. So they get, and the thing is, they still got 2 games against each other. The odds makers, you know, when they make these schedules, they got they play the Ravens December the 7th, and then the last game of the season, the Ravens and the Steelers are going to be matched up again. And that will definitely be a big telling game of who will win this division. Now, the things that the Steelers have going for them, you know, the Ravens are behind them. They got to definitely try to surpass them. So having a one-game lead is very crucial. The Steelers defense, you know, it's improving. You know, I was very concerned about their defense because the defense wasn't playing well, even when they were winning. It was, you know, for some reason they couldn't stop the run. And, you know, but they've been playing better. T.J. Watts and Cameron Hayward, you know, they're going to be very crucial in shutting down people, and especially those offenses that are very high-powered. You know, they control their own destiny. That's the biggest thing with the Steelers. They just got to continue to win games. And, you know, if they can continue to win games and they got to play the Ravens twice, they control their own destiny, you know, and their schedule is very manageable. Even though they still got 2 games against the Ravens, they still got a manageable schedule. And, you know, the Steelers, I mean, they have a lot to prove. And I guess what they want to do is show that meltdown last year is not going to happen again. I mean, they're leading the division, and we're in week 11 now. Week 11, we got 6 more, they play 18 games now? I don't know, what, 17. 17. So anyway, we're in week 11, so we go to, but they still have games of it left that they got to win, and they just can't afford another meltdown like they did last year. So if they're not, so I really think right now, because they control their own destiny, I think the Steelers have a better shot of winning that division and making it to the playoffs.
All right. Okay. Anything else, First Lady?
No, that's it.
All right, First Lady. Over to you for more. That's it.
The Bills are suddenly playing losing football. Will they take the division from the Patriots? Spitface defend. The Bills will be saying, don't call it a comeback. Defend.
Yeah, I would, there's the, as they say, the notifications of the Bills' demise has been, let's say, highly exaggerated. And right now, the Patriots are sitting pretty at 9-2, and the Bills are, with this week's game are 6-3. So the Patriots, while they've been kicking booty and looking good, the Bills are just one game behind. And the Bills know how to win this division. The Patriots, and got to give Drake May a big shout out. They are kicking butt in that division. But the Bills will come alive. And the losses that they have, while surprising, are the kind of wake-up call that Josh Allen and the rest of that Bills organization needed to have in their face. Now, the Bills thought that the competitors were going to be the Miami Dolphins. And the Miami Dolphins showed that they're competitors in the sense that they beat the Bills, but the Dolphins are not the threat, to taking the division. So the Bills and the Patriots are going to be in the playoffs, both teams. And by the time the Bills meet for the rematch, I'll put it like this: round 2 will go to the Bills, and that round 2 going to the Bills will put them in the driver's seat, and they'll be saying, "Don't call it a comeback," because they're about to be on a roll. That's what I'm saying, First Lady.
All right, you said they're about to be on a roll. Well, yeah, they need to get on a roll because now, you might say it's overhyped about their losing ways, but they're 6-3 right now. So they've been sputtering the last couple of weeks. So, but they can make a comeback. You're talking about Josh Allen. He was the MVP last year. He's definitely not the MVP this year. But unfortunately, he's been trying to do a lot of hero ball. But, I still think he can bring them back as to winning. They do have a favorable schedule. Even though they have an upcoming game against the Buccaneers, they still have a very favorable schedule. The thing is they got to win the games. That's important. They've had some issues with the offense. But for a while, things were good with their offense. They got to get back to, Josh being Josh. He's running the ball, making plays, and that should help propel them to get to the playoff and get and win that division. Now, their schedule is, you know, they still play the Patriots, so that's a good thing. But they have they got a tough schedule. But they got the Jets, they got the Browns, they got a game against the Bengals, they have the Steelers. So you know they got a tough schedule. Both of them got tough schedule. You know that's why that game against the Dolphins was very a game that they really could not afford to lose. But, you know, ESPN is giving them 87.2% chance to win, to make it to the playoffs. But I haven't seen any chances of them winning the division. But they're going to have a comeback. I mean, you're not going to – I just don't see the Bills not going to the playoffs. You know, everybody's talking about that. And they still got a shot at winning that division. You know, let's face it, the Patriots are a young team. Drake May has been felt this pressure. You know, they definitely could falter down the stretch because of inexperience. You know, experience pays a lot when you're in a contested race for winning a division. And if it's that case, you got to give the Bills the edge on it. And, you know, Drake May, even though he's playing well, it's a lot of pressure now. You know, there's a lot of, we're winning, and the way they've been playing, there's a lot of pressure that comes on this young quarterback. So, I mean, it's great where they are, but, you know, people feel that pressure. What Stephen A. Smith says, butts get tight. That's what happens. So, but the Bills, you know, they've been here before. You got to focus on, you know, the fact that they've been there before, and they have great leadership in Josh Allen. He's going to propel them. So, yeah, it will be a comeback, definitely a comeback for the Bills. All right, let's flip it. The Patriots are for real, and will win the division. Spitface defend.
The old big tuna saying, and don't be opening your mouth. We didn't get that. That tuna's still unaffordable. But the big tuna, as you said, your record says who you are, and sitting at 9-2, and the way that the Patriots have been playing, they're the real deal. They are the real deal, and I'm sort of looking at the Bills as a team that kind of looked at things as though, you know, Josh won the MVP last season, and we are the team of destiny. It's been our time. This will be the year that we knock off the Chiefs. Well, what happened was the Patriots messed around and got better. And some of the other teams. Also, when you're always winning, you get those lower first-round draft picks. So you're not getting somebody that can, you know, well, you're getting, you know, a first-round draft pick is a first-round draft pick. But you're not getting like those top 10 where you got a true breakout player to be on your team. So the Bills, you know, worked on their roster, but still basically the same as last year, and other teams started catching up on them. Now, the Patriots brought in the right coach. Looks like their quarterback could end up being the MVP for real, and because, you know, they're going, you know, shades of the Tom Brady era. But until you win something, you know, you know, it's not really shades of that era. But the Patriots have it together. They're playing good defense. They're playing good special teams. They're playing great offense. And it's like Mike got them going in the right direction. While when you look at Buffalo, it's like, well, we know you can, but you know how like those boxers who is like, well, yeah, you should be, and then bam, they start getting hit And you're like, well, wait, what happened? You were dominating. And things in the NFL, winning games in the NFL, can come down to so many small moves, whether that's bringing in a certain player or the defense starts, having a breakout. But one thing is that Buffalo if they're going to take the AFC East champion, it's going to go through the Patriots. And they're going to have to step up, and I question if they can. So the Patriots are the real deal. They will be winning the AFC East.
All right, they're the real deal. Okay. Yeah, I mean, let's face it. The Patriots are in first place. Like you said, Spitface, they got that record, 9-2. They hold a 1.5 game lead over the Bills, and the Patriots have the head-to-head tiebreaker advantage over the Bills. So that's important. That's important. And the fact the Patriots got they have the easiest remaining schedule in the NFL. The easiest remaining schedule in the NFL. These are the teams that they have to play. Okay, their next game, they play the Bengals. They play the Giants. They do got the game against the Bills. After that, they play the Ravens. And right now, that even though the Ravens got a losing record, but still right now, the Ravens are on a roll. And they end the season against the Jets and the Dolphins. That's why it's going to be very tough for the Bills to overtake the Patriots. Because that schedule is not difficult at all. And the Patriots continue to just, they're winning games. What more can you say? They have the momentum. They're on a winning streak. They got an easy schedule. And like I said, the Bills schedule is very difficult. And, they control their destiny too, their own destiny. When you control your own destiny, that says a lot. And the fact that they have a 1.5 lead over the Bills, that's significant with about 8 games remaining. So I just see it very difficult for the Bills to catch the Patriots. Man, I would have thought the Patriots would be in this situation. I mean, you're talking about a significant turnaround. I mean, and you know what, Spitface, you got to give a lot of credit to Robert Kraft. Robert Kraft gets a lot of credit. He put a coach in last year who he thought was ready to coach the team. But guess what? He didn't waver. He got rid of that coach immediately and put Mike Vrabel in charge because he's all about winning and making sure his team is in the best situation to win. And he said, he don't have hard feelings or anything, You have to understand his coach, he'll get paid, but he doesn't worry about things like that. He wants to get back on top. He went a lot of years with Belichick, and he finally cut loose from Belichick. And that was a difficult decision, but he saw that, Belichick had finished his time here with the Patriots, and he made a mistake with the other coach. But now they are rolling and they are back on top in their division. That's saying a lot about the Patriots. I would have expected the Dolphins to be ahead of the Patriots at this stage of the game because the Dolphins had a better team at one point, but I don't know what happened with them. I don't know if it was, they had a lot of older players that just didn't materialize into what they were supposed to be, and they overpaid a lot of players, whereas the Patriots got a lot of young players, and they got that quarterback that they now can see as a young Tom Brady, and he's I don't know if everybody thought Drake May was going to be who he was at this point in time. The Giants had a chance to get Drake May too. I mean, they still got Dart, but he's doing well. But again, it's about the quarterback. When you have a good quarterback, things are very easy to win in this league because you got to have a quarterback. You got to have a franchise quarterback. So anyway, I definitely have to say the Patriots are definitely they're definitely going to win their division So it's definitely going to be a situation that it's going to be tough for those Bills to have a return. All right, Spitface, please take us to break.
On the other side of the break, we have another performance from young Freda on Shout Out Part 2. Please keep your ears glued to those speakers.
Welcome back. The music flows from around the globe to get a shout out from the crew. Spitface, over to you.
All right. On the second part of Shout Out, we are featuring another track from young Freda. And young Freda, I will say this. Thank you for sending in more than one track. And on that note, let's hear Growth and Acceptance.
It's your boy Young Freda, man. So used to that life, with bills how you broke, regrets for your wallet, you work hard just to cope. Mama preach, go to couch, but deep inside your heart you know. So used to that life, with bills how you broke, regrets for your wallet, you work hard just to cope. Mama preach, go to couch, but deep inside your heart you know. For the skin with melanin to get ahead, don't run with loans. I'm holding tight up on my dreams, even with thoughts of letting go. Though at times it may seem there's an anchor on my rope. My inertia going forward, it's too late to divert. Go land this ship on the coast, now pirate gon' come. Watch the struggle coat my skin, me conflicted to fit in with niggas who hold me down as they couldn't drop like the flag in the hands of a soldier. Either dad to go to school and had them loans roll over. But mama not wanna lose her only son to a moment. She knew she could've changed. She would come to my room to influence me to change. Don't you end up like your father. The streets will pay for pain. Told me no matter what I do, she'll support me with my dreams. What a mother, huh? And now I'm on the path on my way to discover that this grief I was given was to rise me above it. Y'all work that 9 to 5 and it bring my mind to comfort. But that cash well invested, so I ain't got no words to rush it. So used to that life, with bills how you broke, regrets for your wallet, you work hard just to cope. Mama preach, go to college, but deep inside your heart you know. For the skin with melanin to get ahead, don't run with loans. I'm holding tight upon my dreams, even with thoughts of letting go. Though at times it may seem there's an anchor on my rope. My inertia going forward, it's too late to divert. Go land this ship on the coast, now pirate gon' cope. Sometimes I wonder if me and Pops run asunder. Me able to raise him would never come from under. A flower-covered grave, all he got from his thugging. But maybe if I never got to see that repercussion, that pavement, what a lust for black blood to gushing. Them pages, what a judge can't wait to see me shutting. My name spoken on the news panel discussion. That's the reason God never do things for nothing. But maybe if I never got to see that repercussion, that pavement, what a lust for black blood to gushing. Them pages, what a judge can't wait to see me shutting. But there's a reason God never do things for nothing. So used to that life, with bills how you broke, regrets for your wallet, you work hard just to cope. Mama preach, go to college, but deep inside your heart you know. For the skin with melanin to get ahead, don't run with loans. I'm holding tight upon my dreams, even with thoughts of letting go. Though at times it may seem there's an anchor on my rope. My inertia going forward, it's too late to divert. Go land this ship on the coast, now pirate gon' coast.
All right, that was young Freda and with Growth and Acceptance. First Lady, what's the verdict? Is Growth and Acceptance getting the shout out or the mute button?
I'm going to shout it out. Like we've already commented on that he needs to work more on his lyrics, but other than that, his flow is good. I like his rapping style, and the flow and the production of the songs are good. Just needs to be a little bit more lengthier. But, you know, it is what it is, so he just got to work on that. But everything else is all right. Shouting it out.
Well, I'm shouting it out. I agree with you. He had more lyrics in this one than he did the other one. So you know he can do. We know he can do it. He just needs to do more of it. Well, that is the end of shout out. You can check out Young Freda on the Old Grumpy Radio Network. If you'd like to be heard or have any comments, please send your emails and tracks to talent@oldgrumpyradio.com. First Lady, over to you for the picks.
Yes, it's time for the picks. And we are This is we're in week 11?
Yep,
week 11. Okay, so let's go to, let's see, we got to do week 9 picks. I'll tell you something. That DizzieMac, DizzieMac is on fire. He was on fire with this pick. You know, I have to make you laugh. A lot of times I say DizzieMac come up with some crazy picks, but them crazy picks paid off because I remember I told you there was a lot of upsets. He likes to go with a lot of upsets. And last week, there were a lot of upsets in week 9 and week 10. So DizzieMac, he ended up with 2.75 million points. And I had 750,000 points. Spitface, you had minus 750,000 points for week 9. Week 10, I had minus 500,000 points. Spitface, you had minus 250,000 points. DizzieMac had 1.750,000 points, 1.75 million points, excuse me. So, you're talking about somebody who went from under to back on top. DizzieMac did that in a whole 2 weeks. Right now, the current standings through week 10, DizzieMac is leading with 3.25 million points. Spitface, you're at a negative 2.225 million points, and I'm at a you're at a negative 2.225, and I'm at negative 275,000 points. So I'm behind DizzieMac, way behind DizzieMac, and you way behind too. But hey, it can happen because DizzieMac did it. He was able to turn his score around. All right, let's get to the current picks for week 11. Winners and losers. These are worth 500,000 points. The Jets versus the Patriots. We already knew that was Thursday night game, and I had to pay. All of us had the Patriots, so we all won that 500 points. So let's go to the Commanders versus the Dolphins. Oh my goodness, this is insane. This is early. We're going to see this game at 9-something in the morning. You know what? I'm gonna go with the Dolphins. The Commanders have been really bad. Obviously. Daniel is not playing, so Jalen is not playing. So I'm going with the Dolphins. Spitface, who do you have?
I'm gonna roll with the Dolphins, and I'm just gonna roll with the Dolphins.
All right, Panthers versus the Falcons. Spitface, who do you have?
Let's see. I'm gonna go with the Panthers.
Oh, okay. You're going against the norm because you usually take the home team. I'm going to take the Falcons because they need a win. I think they need a win to save their coach right now. Their coach is on the hot seat. So they definitely need a win. Buccaneers versus the Bills. Ooh. Man, oh, man. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to take the Buccaneers. I still think the Bills are not as good as everybody say they are. Spitface, who do you have?
I'm going with them Buccaneers. I've been riding with them for most of the season, so I'm going to keep on going with them.
All right. Chargers versus the Jaguars. Spitface, who do you have?
I'm rolling with them. Hey, I'm going with the Chargers. I don't know what team is going to show up down in Jacksonville.
Yeah, and you know what? But the Chargers, for some reason, they don't play well on the road, but I'm just going to go with the Chargers. Bears versus Vikings. This is like a very rival game. Oh, I'm going to go with the Vikings. Who do you have? And the reason why, because the Bears have been rolling high. I just think it's time for them to come down a little bit come down from earth. So I'm going to go with the Vikings at home. Spitface, who do you have?
I'm going with the Bears. The Vikings got them that first time around, but Caleb is playing way much better, and Swift is Swifty.
Mm-hmm. All right, we got the Packers versus the Giants. Spitface, who do you have?
I don't think that the interim coach is going to be able to do anything. Especially the Packers smarting after that last loss. Packers.
Definitely agree with you on that. Definitely the Packers on that one. Bengals versus the Steelers. Hey, I guess I'm going to go with the Steelers because they better win. They better win. Spitface, who do you have?
Now, the Bengals won the first matchup, and I'm rolling with the Steelers.
All right. Now, this is the game of the week. Seahawks versus the Rams. Spitface, who do you have?
You know, Matt Stafford is just a lucky guy. And if there's going to be anybody getting a break, it's him and those wide receivers. So I'm going with the Rams.
I'm going to go with the Seahawks. I think they're the best team in the league, and I think whoever wins this will win that division. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks. All right, Chiefs versus the Broncos. I always go with the Chiefs, even though they disappoint me sometimes. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. Spitface, who do you have?
I'm going to go with the Broncos. Just they're the home team, and I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll with those Broncos.
All right, Lions versus the Eagles. That's another game of a week. Who do you have, Spitface?
Man, I don't even want to pick. Eagles are at home. I'm gonna go with the Lions.
Yeah, but that's who I'm going with. I'm going with the Lions. I think, that offense of the Eagles is going to catch up to them. They got to score because, the Lions are going to score. And I don't care who defense they play. The Lions can score some points. So I'm going to go with the Lions on that one. Okay, now we got to go to over, under, and push. These are worth 250,000. Okay, we reverse it this time. Usually these are worth more, but we reverse them. So, I'm going, let's see, Patrick Mahomes, 3 passing touchdowns. I'm going to go under. I'm going under. You're going to go under. Okay. Matt Stafford, 3 passing touchdowns. Who are they playing? I'm going to say push. Push. No, they're not playing. They're playing the Seahawks.
Oh, wait, Rams. Oh, I forgot. Matt Stafford. I'm so used to being on Detroit, Okay, you're going to push. That's tempted.
Okay,
push.
Right. So Matt Stafford. So what do you? I'm sorry, Spitface. For Matt Stafford, you said push or under over?
I'm going to go with the push.
Okay. Sam Darnold, 3 passing touchdowns.
I'm going to say under.
I'm going to say, I think that's going to be it. I'm going to say push, and you have under. Okay. Aaron Rodgers, 2 passing touchdowns.
I'm going to say, I'm going to go with over.
You're going to go with over?
I'm going to go with over. It's about time for him to have a good game.
Okay. I'm going to go with under. Caleb Williams, 3 passing touchdowns. For Caleb, I'm going to say, I forget who they playing, the Vikings. I'm gonna go with push.
Okay, I'm going with under.
That's a high scoring game, I think. I'm gonna go with push. You're gonna go with under?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Josh Allen. Let's see. 1 interception. I'm gonna go with under.
I'm going with under. He's not an interception kind of guy, and so I'm going to roll with the. Even though the Bucks play good defense, I'm just still saying I'm going with the under.
Okay. All right. We'll see how we do next week because, like I said, we've been on that DizzieMac been on a roll. He was on fire. All right, Spitface, what is your top story to watch this week?
That is the coaching hot seat in the NFL. Will the Titans or Browns coach get the axe?
Oh, okay. That's your top story to watch. All right. My top story to watch is Ja Morant. Is he going to be traded? Because, he's still been in a lot of issues with the coach. And, so I just hope that he's going to get traded. I think that's it for him in Memphis. So definitely say Ja Morant. All right. Check out our current and previous episodes at BrasPantiesandSports.com. This is Cheryl Smith, the First Lady of Sports Talk, and Spitface. You have been listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. See you next week.